Is it possible that everybody open, put the videos on? Is it possible, madam?
Of course, yes, you can ask them to. Otherwise, yeah. Children, can you switch on your video? I can switch it on, but
Yeah, I mean, really great to see you all. Like, it's just not just a single alone meeting. I would like to see you all. Is it possible for you to turn on the videos? Not the mic, only the video. It's all right. The people, I mean, if you can do it, otherwise it's all right. So, as Vishakhabadam introduced me, I'm Chandana. Actually, I passed out from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in 2010. And I worked in the department for 3 years and then started on company. And we have developed web-based products. We have several products, and some of them got recognized in national level competitions. I will go into this presentation. I'm not going into very complex details here. I think this is more of an introduction to what to expect and where to look at. Okay. Can all of you type ready in the chat box just to know you are ready? Right? Chamidu says he's ready. Others? Okay. Okay. Lahiru also say. Okay. Good. Good. Right. Can everyone see my screen? Right. Right. Okay. So first, we take a look what is web development. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows, at least heard, what is web development, and probably most of you did 1 or 2 web development projects. Anyway, if we say web development, we can say building and maintenance of websites. It's a work that happens behind the scenes, and lots of work efforts go into these websites in order to make them really pretty as we see them. So what are the areas? What are the areas of a web developer? Now, we can say a front-end web developer, back-end, full stack, software engineer, and database. So who are the front-end developers? Front-end developers are mostly working with this appearance or UI of websites or web applications. And if you see here, yeah, I'll get back in later. And backend developer, who are the people working in the code, but not visible to the users, but they contribute to develop, deploy, deliver the website. Then who are the full stack developers? Now, recently there was hype with full stack developers. Everybody wanted to be full stack developers. Full stack developers are the people who are familiar with both front end and back end. So, okay, let me ask you a question. Who are familiar with HTML? Done anything with HTML? Can you put in the chat box? Any experience with the chat box? Sorry, HTML? Yes. Nice. So HTML is a front-end technology. So CSS, anybody I mean, probably all the people who worked in HTML worked in CSS as well. Anybody who's working with CSS? Right, everybody got, I mean, if you haven't, just say no. That's all right. So, okay, CSS is also front-end technology. How about PHP? Who are the people worked any PHP project? Maybe a simple one, maybe connecting to a database, saying hello world. Yes. So, okay, PHP, and there are some other technologies which are backend. So if you know, nice. Tarindu says created, very nice. So full stack developers are familiar with both HTML, CSS, and also JavaScript, and also PHP and other backend technologies. And software engineers, when we say software engineer, these are the people who are at architect level, right? Who design the software, who decide what are the components, how they are interconnected, and these front end and back end developers are the people who implement these designs. Database engineers, of course, they manage databases. Right. So in order to be a web developer, you should learn at least these three technologies. I mean, HTML and CSS, even these two are all right. But if you know these three technologies, you can build a good website. We heard many technologies like, even PHP, Java, or you may have heard Node.js and some other languages. Whatever the language we were working on, at the end, they all converted into one of these three technologies. So if you get a PHP file, and if you create a small website, at the end the browser sees an HTML or CSS or JavaScript. So we need to know these basic technologies in order to become a web developer. So as we said, now HTML, CSS, these are actually languages, but there are lots of frameworks. They are to help us to develop these websites and web applications. I mean, even though it is a very good idea to have a thorough understanding what each these languages or these technologies do, we should be familiar with these frameworks. For an example, if we think about HTML, right? Bootstrap is a framework which greatly help us to build prototypes. So if you have any questions when I say prototype, if you're not sure what is a prototype, you can always ask in the chat box. So I can integrate this answer into the this video. So that will be a good resource for other people who will be looking at this. Okay. So Bootstrap and Foundation, for actually Bootstrap mostly, is a framework. Now, let's say you want to style a button. You don't have to, style it, in detail, like what is the background color, what is the font size, what should be the width. You don't have to do anything. Bootstrap gives you set of tools or libraries, and so that you can use them without putting much effort into designing things. If you remember, I told you Bootstrap is a good framework for prototyping. When I say prototyping, that means building something quickly. Okay. Now, if we want to, build a website, show it to someone, maybe your lecturer or one of your employees. If you want to show something quickly, maybe within a day, within few hours, Bootstrap is the way to go because it has all the styling, most of the functions that you need to build most of the websites. When we go to this a little bit further, there are other frameworks and engines. They are to help us. In the industry mostly, they are using one of these three: React.js, Vue.js, or Angular. So let's go to the next slide. So these are the HTML CSS frameworks, and these are the front-end frameworks and libraries. So React.js, Vue.js, and Angular. So you should know, in the current world, this React is the most trending library. We don't say it's a framework. We say it's a library, but more or less the functionality, there are so many similarities. Anyway, React is React made by Facebook to build Facebook page, Facebook website, and some other things. And you should, I think I recommend you, I mean, if you are looking into looking into getting started in one of the frameworks, React, I would recommend React because it has most trending, as well as it has the demand. On the other hand, Vue.js, it is also trending, but I mean, more than React, it's easy to learn. So there's this advantages in Vue. Vue is also widely used. And the other one is Angular. Angular was, I mean, it was popular few years back, I mean, maybe 4 or 5 years before, but it, declining its popularity. So I would recommend you to go either for React or Vue. If we go to the backend technologies, now let's say here, let's say you are familiar with JavaScript, right? React is, React works on top of JavaScript, and Vue.js also JavaScript, Angular too. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, the Node.js will give you a benefit, immediate benefit, because Node is also running on top of JavaScript. Even though that is a backend technology, Node.js is a backend technology, the language it uses is JavaScript. There are some other options like Python, PHP. I think Python, I would say, is the most popular, most trending backend technology for now. But Node.js, Python, both are very good. Even PHP, I would recommend. So, okay. Now, let's think you got familiarized with HTML, this front-end technologies and back-end technologies. All right, okay. Good question, Mr. Chaturanga, right? Yeah, sorry, Chaturani. Right. Yeah, Chaturani asks, what is the difference between prototype and final project? Prototype is just UI, maybe with very simple functionality, without much, without this final functionality. Let's say you have some idea in your mind and you want to show it to someone and get an approval. Okay, is this good? Maybe you are working something with a client, and you want to show the client what would be the output without spending much time developing it. So to develop the interfaces, you can use Bootstrap, and we can say that's a prototype. I think I answered the question. Okay. Now, after after learning how to develop a basic website, it's good if you have at least slight knowledge on these things. One thing is how to deploy your website in your local machine. That is one of the basic requirement when developing websites, right? If you are familiar with SAMP, you can actually do it. I mean, how many of you are familiar with SAMP? Can all of you can say whether you have done anything, have installed SAMP or not? Can you put it in the chat box? Know about SAMP or not? Worked in SAMP? Yeah, good. Worked with SAMP, Pooja, Irfani, I have installed. Okay. Right. I have. Okay, good. Chamidu says worked with SAMP. Very good. So that is a must knowledge that you have. So what does SAMP stand for? Can anybody answer that question? SAMP stands for X means cross-platform, A means Apache, M means MySQL, P for PHP, and other P is for Perl. Okay, then it's a good idea to work with some domain names. These are not very complex, very simple things. I mean, if you can take a screenshot or write that down, just see how you can manage a domain name to point that domain name into a website. So you should change DNS settings in the domain. And then you should know how to use control panel. One of the control panels available. cPanel is one of the leading control panel. Actually, I would recommend you to, there are some websites, some hosting providers giving free accounts. So we can, I think Zero Web Hosting, and there are some other, providers. You open up an account, okay? You open up an account and go there and see what are the options available in this cPanel. Then you will get an idea what kind of things are there. You can create emails, you can create databases, create email users, right? Different things like install other software. There are lots of things you can do, and I highly recommend that. And also, finally, you should know about this file transfer mechanisms. How to use a FTP client, how to use an SSH client. I think that knowledge will be helpful. So let's take a look at the trends. Okay, from 2009, let's take a look at this. I think everybody can read this one. If you take a look, if you go to let's say C#, right? It was popular, very popular. I mean, actually, first I will describe this graph. This graph, it's taken from Stack Overflow, right? Stack Overflow is the website everybody goes to learn about, ask a question and get answers. I think everybody is familiar with it. Otherwise, you will know Stack Overflow very soon if you start with programming, right? So this is the trending graph from 2009 to 2021. What happened to the popularity? How many questions asked in each of these languages and framework? If you go to C#, we say it's declined over the time, right? 2010, it was very popular, but 2021, not that popular. I mean, relative to the other technologies. But if you take a look at this one, Python, you see in 2009 only 4% popularity, but Today, it is the most popular programming language. Can I ask you a question again? Why Python is so popular? Can anybody answer that question? Data science and AI. Yeah, that's good. That's correct. But why? Easy to learn. That is also correct. Any other answers? In my view, now these are correct. Okay, now these are actually data science and AI means there are lots of libraries, huge set of libraries for us to use. In a way, that is a very good thing. In a way, it is not that good thing. It's not that good, but that is why it is so popular. It has vast range of libraries and very easy to use, actually very easy to get the work done. So that is why Python is very popular and it has a good demand, because unless your software needs performance, right, if it is not time critical, then Python is a very good platform, very good language to develop software, because very quickly we can develop very complex things. How about PHP? If we see PHP here, now this blue line, okay, this blue line, it was trending. I mean, it was trending for a long time, and in around 2014, it was popular, quite popular. Now slightly declining. Even though this is, I mean, in this graph, even though it is declining, I think PHP will have a long go. It will not vanish in any near future. So it will be, I mean, there for many years. So it is a good language, actually, but it's not trending. That's the thing. Now, if you see this one, React.js, this maroon color one here, right? Yeah. Now React.js, actually, if you see, now it is trending. Can you see it? This maroon color line. It is a very trending language, right? So I say that's the most trending language at the moment, because that is one of the things that's going so rapidly, right? So going up very rapidly. Others, I think, just come here. What is this one? Node.js. This is Node.js one. This is a light purple one, and it is also getting, it's going up in upward trend, but not as much as React. So that's why I told you. So we can predict in future React will be an opportunity for you. If you are just getting into learning web development, I would recommend learn React. It is not that easy, but it will pay you off. You will see when we go to later in the slide. I will show you some interesting things. So get excited. How about JavaScript? You see JavaScript on this one. It is also trending. Lots of questions asked and answered in the Stack Overflow, right? How about this Vue.js? It's a purple one. This one, it's also trending. So Vue.js very, I mean, as I said, Vue.js is easy to learn, and it is a very good framework, and people are using it. Let's go to the next one. Sorry. Now this is the comparison between React, Angular, and Vue.js. Now you can see AngularJS, Angular. So Angular here, now it was popular, and React.js here, the most upward trend, and jQuery. jQuery is also a JavaScript framework. but it's declining its popularity. You can see. So my recommendation is for you to learn Angular or Vue. Okay. Now you are. I mean, I think some. Are you all who are working? I mean, already working somewhere, maybe part time, maybe. Can you answer that question? Are you all students or are you working somewhere? Can you put in the chat box? Student, student, student. Okay, most of you are, I think, so from the answers, I can say you're students, right? So if you're a student, yeah, thanks. Thanks, Dilanka. So if you're a student, now after even maybe after the training, I mean, you have a training internship, right, in future? So if you are looking into web development, you should, I think my recommendation is to start as a front-end developer. Let me tell you why. If you think about now, just because there are lots of there's lots of demand for full stack developers, people who know from front end as well as back end. That's correct. Now they have lots of demand, but there's a secret. Secret is only companies, I mean only small companies are hiring full stack developers mostly. Let me tell you why. Now if you take a developer, if he knows everything, let's say that we take a person, he knows 10 languages, but his experience in the field is only maybe 3 years. Okay, so within 3 years, how can be an expert of 10 languages? That's the question, right? So obviously that person has no expertise in any of these languages, but that person may know all the languages here and there, may know how to do some things here and there. The people who are hiring these full stack developers are mostly the startups because they don't have a budget, right? Now, without maintaining a separate person for the backend and separate person for the front end, they tend to hire a full stack developer so that they can cut the cost. But if you think about any big company like if you maybe Facebook or any big company, usually they hire either a backend developer or a front-end developer separately. Why? Now that one has experience in 10 years, that in backend technologies, that one is an expert in backend, and vice versa in the front end as well for the other developers. So I would recommend, so you start the develop career as a front-end developer. I mean, it doesn't have to be many years, but let's say for 1 or 2 years you work as a front-end developer and know how front-end works. You can be a web front-end developer or any other front-end developer, but let's say web front-end developer, you learn about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then you learn a little bit of jQuery, and then you become an expert of jQuery, and then you learn something like React. So then you know how front end works, right? So at the point that you are expert in React.js, people will be paying you, loads of money. Don't worry about it. Just become the expert. That's what you should be, right? So after becoming an expert in the front end, you can learn backend technologies I mean, if there are nothing new to learn in the front end much, I mean, if you know React, if you know the basics, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, jQuery, everything, these kind of things, if you can do something very good in the front end, you can take a look at this backend technologies, how backends work. Now, if you know JavaScript, if you know React, learning Node is, very easy. It's a breeze. Don't worry about it because it's running top of JavaScript. So if you are familiar with JavaScript, it's just a matter of learning how to use the libraries, right? So then you be good at backend technologies. Then if you spend like maybe 5 years, 6 years, maybe even 10 years on that, then you can get promoted. Even within 3, 4, 5 years, you can get promoted as a chief, maybe tech lead or chief technical officer. So you can get promoted. So that is what I would recommend, right? So there are some other things that we need to avoid. One thing that one software engineer first. So don't go. Don't get excited with the hype. Just be good at one thing and be good at the other thing later. Okay. And also, if you are doing front end or back end only, even I would not recommend to try to learn all the technologies at once. Because one thing I would like to share is like, if you know something, right? If you know, let's say you know PHP, right? If you know PHP well, if PHP is not a dead language, you always get a good job. The more you become an expert, the more people will pay. So that we should keep in our mind, right? So if you know a little bit of PHP, little bit of this, little bit of that, that is not a good entry point to get you a good job initially, right? But let me tell you, after becoming expert, if you know everything, that is also very obvious. That is very high demand, right? Don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you is, at once don't try to become an expert in all technologies. There's a question. I am passionate about web development, especially in React. Okay. To become a full stack developer, should I learn app development too, React Native? That depends actually. Now, full stack development is not a single, there's no single specification. Okay, this is the full stack development. Let's say if a company does app development and that company has a website and there are some linkage between, you might need to learn if you want to be a full stack developer. What I would recommend is just check what are the things that you need to learn, and after learning one thing first, go for the other. So if you know React JS well, right, if you're an expert, it's a good idea to take a look at React Native, right? Who are associate engineers? What are the associate engineers? Associate engineers usually work under software engineers. So maybe when you passed out, you can join a company as an associate engineer. So actually, that's obviously that's the way. If you don't have much experience, it's always, if you are getting into a new technology, not a totally new technology, but even if you know PHP or even if you know JavaScript, but if you are getting you are joining as into a, maybe a product, right? Let's say you're joining into a product company and you will be working in this product. So you don't have much experience in this product. So you will be joining as an associate engineer, and this software engineers and senior software engineers and tech lead, they will help you to learn things and how to do things correctly, right? Is actually Python popular here in Sri Lanka as so in the trends? I mean, job market. If yes, then in which sector? Web development, data analytics. That actually, let's see. I mean, data analysis. Obviously, there's Python is popular. Maybe not much of a market there in Sri Lanka. I don't think so. But Python is popular there. Web development, I don't think so in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, maybe .NET, maybe big companies like Virtusa, they might be doing .NET and all. And some other companies might be doing Java and other things. Okay. I think, okay, thanks. How can we join the company initially as a front-end developer? Oh, I will tell you. I'll tell you how to do it in a later slide. Okay. Okay, Irfani. Right. Thank you. I really great. I mean, that's what I wanted. Like I want you to ask questions. Ask any question that you have. If I don't know, I'll tell you no. But I'll try to answer my best. Okay. Okay. One hint. Like now, if you're going to an interview, it is a good idea to do a personal project on somewhere like GitHub, right? Why do I tell you? Now initially, when you are first, applying for a job, you don't have much experience, right? So people will be looking at your CV and they will see, okay, I'm a very passionate, this one, that one, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's how it was. Like everybody say they are very passionate, right? Who doesn't? So to stand out, I mean, now among hundreds or thousands of CVs, you should stand out. To do that, you can start doing your own project. Now, if you are into web development, you can do a project in web development technologies, maybe in Python, Node.js, Angular, React. So whatever the language that you think you will be, good at, anything that you like, you do a project and make it, attractive. So I mean, maybe take a 1 year or maybe 2 years. So how, I mean, when are you going to leave? I mean, when the course will be, when you'll be graduated? How many years from today? 2 years? Can anybody put in the chat box? How many years for your course from today? No clue. Okay. Let's say 2 years. Okay. Now, if within 2 years you are going to apply for a job, I think first you take a look at the technologies, and when you do a project in a technology, you will see all the languages are very good. I mean, you see, now whether it's React or it's Vue.js, even jQuery, Bool, I mean, even the simplest things, they have really evolved, polished, and it's very easy to do things like even PHP. Now it is not difficult. So when you work with the language for maybe few years, it will become your language. That's what happens. I mean, you can always switch, but the language becomes a part of you. So you will be passionate about this language and how do projects on this language. So what I would say, take a look at the languages initially and pick a language, any good language that is so, and do a good project. So that will give you an edge, because now that will prove that you are passionate about developing software, right? So I mean, that will be an extra mile in your CV. So I highly recommend that. And also, maybe you can learn few testing technology, like maybe unit testing. It's a very basic kind of testing, very easy to do. There are some things to learn, but not difficult. So if you say you are good, I mean, you have some experience about testing, that will be also a good advantage, because these software developers, I mean, usually they don't like to write unit testing, but they have to. So if you know it, that's a good point. Okay. Now let's sorry. Now this is the answer to your question. Someone asked the question, right? How to apply for a job, right? Okay. These are the things you can do. One is local companies. Now at the end of maybe 1 or 2 years, you have this your personal project, and actually when you do a personal project, you actually understand how a project work, right? Now let's say, now if you build a website using any framework, like there are some frameworks like Laravel, right, and Cake PHP, and there are some other frameworks. Now most of web development frameworks follow MVC design pattern. It's anybody heard of MVC design pattern before? Yes, nice, very nice, very good, very good. Yeah. Okay. Now the beauty is, now from the books, we think this is the model, this is the view, this is the controller, and this do this and that. But when you do a real project, you understand, and do you really know what these elements do, right? So even in the interview, this project will give you lots of advantage, lots of points, because you can answer the questions practically, rather than book knowledge of reading. You exactly know, okay, this is model, this is the role of the model, this is the role of the controller, this is how we can communicate view and model, these are the real scenarios. Okay, so you can answer a question with the knowledge, not with your experience. It's a knowledge and the experience, right? Okay, now your first thing you can do is you can send CVs to local companies. There are lots of companies here. I would recommend you to go. I mean, actually it depends, but you might apply for a big company if you can. But there are advantages and disadvantages of applying for a big and small companies. If you apply for a big company, now all the processes are very streamlined, right? Let's say a company with 100 or 200 employees, maybe thousands of employees. You will be given a specific task, and you will be inside of a predefined, very strict flow, right? That is a good experience to learn how these big companies work. That is a very valuable experience. On the other hand, if you apply for a small company, maybe 10 employees, 3 employees, 15, right? Then probably you will end up doing many things. Okay, there will not be much streamlined processes, right? Then you will get to know company's operations, inside out. You will be doing maybe talking to customers. You will be designing UIs. You will be designing doing other things like designing websites, maybe using Photoshop and GIMP. So that is another advantage on the small companies. So there are pros and cons. So I mean, I don't say this is the correct one, but you decide whether you want to go for a big company or a small one. But one advantage of going to a big company is, now big companies have this ladders, right? Job ladders. So when you good at something, you get promoted. But in a small company, your salary might you get increased, but your role might not get promoted that much. Okay. So that's the one thing. I mean, go for a local or international company. Sorry, local company. And the other way you can find jobs is like just go to Stack Overflow jobs. Okay. And let's go there. Right. Not finished. Okay, here, right? Let's go to Stack Overflow jobs. Right. So this is the trending chart. You can compare all the trends here. Let's go Stack Overflow jobs. Right. Here you can work remotely, or you can apply to go there. Let's search remote jobs here. Right. Now here, if you see, PHP developer, remote home office, WordPress projects at enterprise level, right? Salaries between 30,000 to 70,000. This is usually yearly wage, 30,000 per year, right? Dollars. Let's check something else. The backend software engineer, PHP. Even you see, even PHP, any language, there will be a demand. So don't worry about don't worry much about selecting language, but do whatever feels you good. Okay, makes you feel better. Yeah, here a senior web developer, Laravel. Okay, from here you can actually easily apply. Now, if you create a profile in Stack Overflow, this site, you can easily apply with a click of a button. You can apply for the job. That's one way of doing it, right? The other way is this. One of the other ways is this Indeed.com. From here, let's search for a web developer, right? Find jobs. Right. You see here, web application developer, right? Within various PHP web framework, develop new code and refactoring the current code based on how to improve and maintain current business system. Something's there, right? Now here, look at the salary. It's 70,000 to 90,000 per year. So it converts to how much? Let's see. If you got 70,000 into 200, right? Divided by 12. It's 1 million rupees per month, at least, right? The minimum wage. So that's the earnings that you can make if you become a web developer. I mean, not only web developers, even all other software engineers out there earn maybe more than that. So this is the rate you can actually earn. So I mean, if you can get a remote job, it's very easy. You don't have to relocate. You don't have to go there. If you search for, let's say, search for junior web developer, right? Find jobs. Junior front-end developer, right? View remote. There are lots of jobs, here. this is an hourly rate job, right? $26 means around 5,000, right? So 5,000 per hour. So that's a good rate, I think. And also you can compare this salary, like if you go there, jobs in Hosa. Okay, actually, if you create a profile in this website, you can easily apply for job as well. So create a profile and update your CV details and do this personal project, put it there, and you can apply. I think for junior position they don't look for many years of experience. I think you can directly apply. Okay, right. Actually, I missed one slide there. I'll go back. This one. I missed it, right? Right here. I quickly go through. So in order to do the, I think most of you know these things, but you need code editor like Visual Studio Code or Sublime. Actually, I use Sublime and PHP Storm, Notepad++, and Live Server. You all should know. I mean, it's a plugin for Visual Studio Code, and it can actually auto refresh the website when we change the code, even from the backend. Even if you change the PHP code, the website get refreshed. So I recommend you to install this this one and SAS as compiler. And also you might need Photoshop or GIMP kind of graphical manipulation tool, and also FileZilla or something to transfer files. And also you should know JIT. Learn JIT, and it will be a good point for your CV. I mean, everybody must know JIT these days. So learn JIT. And also I will share one picture. Okay, this one. Now this is a sample timeline for you to follow. Actually, I took it from another tutorial. So first you learn HTML, CSS, JSS, 3 months, right? Then you learn React, another 2 months, right? Then learn JIT, 6 months. I mean, from here you can actually apply for a job. Even from here you can apply for a job after learning React. Then in addition, you can learn Sass and TypeScript. Anybody knows what is Sass? Can anyone tell me? Anybody knows Sass? Right. Yeah. It says, I mean, you should learn Sass. It says it's a syntactically awesome style sheets. So Sass is, I mean, must to know. I mean, after learning React, I mean, you should learn Sass. So that will make your life very easy, because that's in that industry standard as well. So you should learn SAS, right? SAS stands for, yeah, syntactically awesome style sheets. Yes. So actually, I mean, I think now in CSS now it's very primitive. So we don't have any nested queries, much of nested queries. But if you use Sass, now you can introduce variables and functions, everything into CSS, and there's another program to convert that into regular CSS. So it's a very useful technology. So you should know that. Okay. I think I would like to end this session here.